Welcome to Scream Queens or Movie Road Trip Podcast. Well, hey, oh, there's more.
Okay.
Hey, Justine.
Hey.
That's our final girl over there.
Tried to give that one a real long, drawn-out, shrill kind of scream for my soul survivor.
Ah, that's me, Mr. Josh.
My side piece over here, Mr. Josh.
How is everybody today?
What's up, boys? What's up, girls?
And everybody in between.
That's right. Everywhere, in between, all around, up and down. How you doing? Welcome to Scream Queens Horror Movie Road Trip Podcast in your ass.
Or anywhere else you prefer. We are heading up Interstate 35.
Yes.
And we're at mile marker 49 in Missouri.
I-35.
I-35. We're heading to, what's our final destination, Justine?
Well, we're taking this little Missouri train all the way up to a place, a land that neither of us have ever been to.
The land of Vikings.
It's a land of snow and ice.
Land of Scandinavia.
A land of ice and snow.
Some people call it Minneapolis.
Some people call it Minnesota.
Some people call it the Mall of America.
Some people call it their worst fucking nightmare. But yeah, so we're headed all the way up to Minneapolis, Minnesota, to the Mall of America area. It's actually in a suburb, but our hotel where we're staying is in the deep city.
We're hanging out in downtown.
We're gonna get like damn pretty in the city.
Downtown. Yeah, we're gonna be
so excited.
We're gonna be staying in downtown Minneapolis, and we'll drive down to Bloomington to go to the Mall of America. And you want to know why we're going to the Mall of America?
I want to know why we're going to the Mall of America.
Because we want to talk about shopping mall. I hope you're prepared, Miss Justine.
Oh shit, we were supposed to watch a movie?
Sometimes we do that when we do this show.
I got so confused because you just like called me this morning and you were like, yo girl, I really want to go on a long drive.
I need to
it's
go to the
about
mall.
11, maybe 12 hours, depending on how many dumps I got to take on the way up.
Hey, I've only taken like 2 little pees so far.
So far, we've only done 2 stops.
I took my dump before I left this morning.
We're halfway there, too. Like, we're
Yeah,
at
we
our
left
halfway
about
point.
okay, it's noon right now. We left about 6 hours ago.
Yep.
And we should be getting there in about 5 more hours or somewhere in about their time.
Yeah, and we're going to the Mall of America tomorrow. We've got a
Tomorrow.
good chunk of the day that's just going to be dedicated to everything that was great about our childhood, the mall.
Yes.
And let's talk a little bit about what's at the Mall of America.
Yeah, it's what, the 7th largest mall in the world?
In the whole world.
The whole wide world.
In the entire world. I believe it is like either the biggest or it's the second biggest in the U.S.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's trying to break the record because
Yeah.
it opened in 1992.
By now,
And
yeah.
I think at the time it was the biggest mall. I could see some jokester out there being like, oh yeah, Minnesota, we're going to one-up ya and build.
Look at me and my titties.
Come to our mall and see my tits.
Come here. Okay, so let's just give a little bit of the reason why. Because if you were a kid of the 90s, I was.
Mall culture was huge.
Mall culture was everything. And especially like the Mall of America was hyped up. But there were 2 Mighty Duck movies that had the Mall of America in them. There was like Jingle All the Way, Drop Dead Gorgeous. All of those movies, Mall of America, representation right there.
That's right. It is one of those things I've heard about since I was a kid and being like, whoa, there's like an amusement park inside a mall.
And it's the Nickelodeon amusement.
Yeah, which is even more 90s. I mean,
Yes.
we were born in the 80s.
Yeah, but
so-
childhood was.
Well, I'm just saying, like, our whole lives were mall culture in the
Yeah.
beginning. Malls are dying out now, but, you know, from the time we were born, malls, you know, got big, the end of the 70s, that concept kind of started taking off, and by the time we were born, there were malls everywhere. I don't remember there not being malls.
Like, in our area alone, when I was a child, in our area, I swear, there were like 6 to 7 malls. And then there were 3 big malls, and that were kind of like Not
our
as big
area.
as Gallerias, because those are ginormous, and there's one like in Dallas.
They're
And
close.
the Galleria that they filmed Chopping Mall in is humongous.
The Sherman
And-
Oaks Gallery, I've been there.
Oh, you've been there in your Los Angeles times,
When
Yash?
my Los Angeles times, I went to both the Sherman Oaks Galleria and the Beverly Center. The Beverly Center is the exterior shots in the movie.
This is correct. I love the exterior shots too. Having seen the Beverly Center, I'm like, oh, yes, I know what that place is, and it just looks cool too.
Yeah, both are huge. The
And it has a
Sherman
little-
Oaks Galleria and the Beverly Center.
Art Deco-ness that, of course, reprised the 80s, and then there's all this neon on it. I like it.
Yeah,
it's
it's
wonderful. And that's a lot of what the mall is like just art and the shopping and all of these people that are coming together. Everybody has a roller coaster in their mall, right?
That's right.
So we didn't have one in our mall. But,
No, I mean,
but we're going to one that's going to have in a large roller coaster, a large roller coaster at that. It's going to be huge.
and mall culture was a real thing. Like, you know, it birthed movements of music, like Tiffany and
Yes.
boy bands would perform at malls. You
Lots
know,
of
that's where
events.
everybody hung out. Teenagers hung out on a Friday, Saturday night. In the 90s, I can remember me and my friend Molly being dropped off every Friday night at the mall. We go walk around and then cross over and see a movie. There's always a movie theater near a mall. I feel
Oh,
like.
if not in the mall.
If not
And
in the mall, yeah.
all the, like that's the escalators, you have your food court, you got all the gaming, and then of course you have all the shopping. And at the Mall of America there's 520 plus stores.
That's a
I don't
lot.
know if that actually includes the kiosks, but I'm gonna think it does. But
And I
that's
know
a
right
lot.
now not every store is open because of COVID, and they're down to was it 25% capacity right now?
Yeah, for their
letting
like,
people in.
for the Nickelodeon Universe area, and there's an aquarium too at the Mall of America.
So we're kind of planning on getting there right at opening tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Saturdays. So we, get in, get to see everything we want to see. But we
We're
figured Chopping
pumped.
Mall would be the best movie
Mhm.
to talk about, and it's just fun. It's a silly, weird, very 80s
Yes.
movie. And it shows a lot of mall culture, especially in that opening credits, which we'll get to in a little bit. But
Loves it. And it is, okay, so Chopping Mall, it was 1986, and we've got directing it, the very well-known and certainly very celebrated for his works and achievements, Jim Wynorski.
Jim Wynorski,
Brought us classics like Witches of Brestwick.
1 and 2, right?
Yeah, that's right. The Bear Winch, Vampirella. I think both our favorites. Scream Queen, Hot Tub Party.
Yes, that's,
You'll remember,
of course, because it's about us, right? Scream Queen's
Yes,
Hot
we
Tub
were.
Party.
Yeah, Return of Swamp Thing, and then Sorceress with Linda Blair. This guy's
Yeah,
all over the place.
He started out as kind of like a cold horror director, and then even now, like, the guy is still working. He's very prolific. He's
Yes.
never stopped. But he went into like this softcore porn parody phase of his career, which I bet the guy's having just so much fun,
Oh yeah, like just
He's like-
spoofing off of horror movies, but also
with tits out,
yeah,
he's probably loving
titties
it.
out. I know, just growing up as again a kid of the '90s, you saw one of these scrolling on your channel guide. If you had Cinemax, you would see
Some of these, like you said, were staples on Cinemax or Showtime.
It's just
You'd see that, and then up next, Red Shoe Diaries or Sherman Oaks or Beverly Hills Bordello.
exactly.
That was my lineup when I was like 11.
That was your lineup. That was your lineup. You had to make sure you viewed it. But raunchy, softcore, erotic,
Fake
or
thrusting, and
action movie.
just seeing butts and titties. Those are the kinds of movies he made.
And I will say, even like the poster art, definitely the VHS art. You saw this, at your local video store. It's a little misleading. You think it's one thing when it's really another. There's killer robots, and then it's kind of more
And that was the original title of the movie.
Yeah.
It was like Killbot.
Killbots, yeah. But the Chopping Mall kind of insinuates somebody that
Slasher.
a lot of slasher, a lot of like maybe little bits and pieces are being cut off,
Yeah.
and these people are
You almost expect an axe or
Yes.
something somewhere.
not robots, certainly not.
Laser robot.
And
all kinds of. They're very weaponized.
They are. They have like the electrodes that'll come out and shock you.
I'm like for robots that were designed only to like impair someone until police got there. They sure were equipped with like deadly
all of
weapons.
the other things. Yeah. Exactly.
They're like, well, that was just in case.
Things really went awry.
Yeah.
And it was produced by Roger Corman and his company. He, of course, prolifically made tons of movies himself, and I think that just like Jim is in that same vein.
And there's a lot of allusions to like Roger Corman films and like that world in this movie. They watch a Corman movie at one point. There's what's the actor that's the character that's in a lot of Corman movies?
Yeah, Dick Miller.
Miller.
Yeah, and he plays that like I got it written down because I knew I was going to forget that. Walter Paisley. Yeah, he's got that reprising kind of name. I don't really even think it's a role, but I haven't seen the other movie where he plays this Walter Paisley character.
Couple from Eating Raoul.
Yes, and they're playing the same couple. But that kind of makes sense because the restaurant that couple works at is in Los Angeles, and so
our man Angus
has
a little cameo as a doctor. Yeah, he asks a question in the audience at the beginning. Yeah.
It's littered with horror. I mean, Dick Miller has been in The Howling, Gremlins, The Burbs, Night of the Creeps. I recently watched this movie called After Hours. He was in it. So
isn't he also Halloween? Dick Miller, one of the Halloween movies, or am I mistaking him? I feel like he was one of the Michael Myers, but I might be mistaking him with Dick something else.
Dick something else.
I think
you might be mistaken.
Do you guys know Dick something else?
Do you know what Dick something else? And there's the guy, he plays one of the teens. We'll get to how I don't agree with them being called teens, but the guy who does Deathstalker 2 plays the lead character in that John Terlecki, I think. So there's just a lot of people. If you take little deep dives into movies, and you might have heard these names. And
little Easter eggs. Did you guys hear that giant insect just hit our windshield?
It was the biggest locust I've seen in a minute.
I hope you guys heard that.
Because it kind of scared me. I looked up thinking, was it a bird? But...
Was it a bird or a plane that you just hit, Josh?
But we haven't even mentioned Barbara Crampton.
Oh yeah, baby girl Barbara Crampton and Kelly Maroney.
Yes.
Night of the Comet, iconic final girl.
And we get titties out. Titties out, both ladies.
We don't see Kelly Maroney's. She's the nerdy girl. We don't see her titties, do we?
She's the nerdy girl. Okay, I'm thinking of what's her face, Leslie.
Yeah.
We see a lot of titties in this movie.
Mm-hmm. We do see some titties.
Titties. Maybe she was gonna show her titties, but then that's in the final cut.
I'm like, our
the
final
director's
girl does
cut.
Not show her titties.
No, she would never. That's kind of one of the whole points of the movie. It does definitely follow those tropes of like the virgin
winning,
survives and. Oh, let's just
start
go.
Beginning.
Let's go. We talked enough about it. Let's
do it.
About the movie.
Let's
get into the opening, which is kind of fun. The opening is this this robbery happening inside the Park Plaza Mall.
You're like, ooh, you see like hands stealing jewelry, breaking, the glass to steal jewelry, and you're like, oh, we're getting into it. It's a heist movie.
And then all of a sudden we get this robot that reminds me of like the kind of robot that's on Mystery Science Theater 3000, like how the head bobbles,
very stout, short,
and then it's on a roller,
pyramid shape.
Yes, but it reminds me of a little bit. It's not as large as a tank, but how it's on a roller, and
when I say pyramid shape, I mean more like Aztec Mayan pyramids and not Egyptian, because he's not pointy headed.
That's true. Yeah, because also he has those arms.
Just to clarify,
we don't want anybody to misunderstand in the comments.
Oh my gosh, and try to cancel me
over pyramids. We cannot have that. Pyramid canceled. Okay, so there's a robbery going on at the mall, and there's a robot that shows up and is like, halt in the name of the Park Security Mall.
And at this point, you're like, yeah, get him, robot.
Yeah, robot guy. I don't know what's happening. We're 5 seconds into the movie, but get him. Get that dirty bastard.
I just know thieves are bad.
That he's bad. Well, he brought a gun, so he's like pointing it at the robot, and he's like, oh, you suck my... I don't remember what he says.
I don't think he tells the robot to suck his dick, but
maybe
you never
not.
know.
Whatever. And then he gets apprehended by the robot, and it, to me at least, seems like he kills him.
He looks...
He doesn't
dead.
Look like he's sleeping awaiting
Like he
the
almost
police.
looks like he gets taser. You know the kind
Yes.
of tasers where like the little string attaches and
Yes.
sticks into you? That's a taser, right?
Yeah, that's what the tasers do
Yeah.
anyways. And,
Oh, okay.
and then they have that little button that they fall
Well,
off.
what are the ones that just like spark, you know, and like Batman Returns, like
the
Catwoman
little,
has?
yes, like the
What are
little
those
nipple.
called? It's like, yeah, you can like tweak your nipple with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, what
And
are
then
those
she
called?
goes and like kisses Christopher Walken.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
that called? That,
Well, that's a hand taser, I think.
Different
like,
kind of taser,
There's
okay.
a taser, like a gun.
The gun,
the
and then
things
there's, like,
that
the little
shoot.
hand one.
Yeah, there we go.
oh my god, we should get one of those.
Should we?
Yeah. Let's look into it later.
Okay.
Anyways, we have a long road trip. Why not?
Might as well. How much is like a hand taser? Okay.
Are they legal?
Well, we find out that what we just saw is a movie, and it's being shown in the mall for some patrons. I'm guessing these are like high donors and stuff. They don't really address who the crowd of
People are, yeah.
It's just
All she does is a lady comes out after we see it. She's like, "That's the film portion of our program," and we're like, "What kind of program is this?
what is
ma'am?"
this presentation?
And that's when
ma'am?
we see Angus Scrim.
Yeah.
He raises his hand. It's like, "Well, ma'am, what
Are
is he?"
those robots going to kill, people or hurt people? Like, that's not what we want. And
We don't want them killing people.
we get this guy who looks like he's going to join, like, the WCW. Like, he has... do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
His hair's all feathered, but
Yes.
he's kind of, like, bulked up. And he's
He just
the
needs
presenter.
like a little jockey on.
Yes. Like, he just gives me, like, World Federation wrestling vibes. I don't know. But
Or
he's,
like the guy Lou Ferrigno or whatever.
Yes.
That played the old Hulk
Yes.
back in the day. Yeah. He kind of,
Before he was like super hulked
Yeah.
up, but you could tell like that guy actually goes to the gym.
and I totally butchered the Hulk actor's name. I just know first name Lou, whatever. the
Lou,
last name
yeah.
is,
That guy.
That
So,
guy, yeah.
so this kind of beefed up, but hair feathered out chap explains to this crowd of people in the mall that the video they just viewed, it's the robots that are going to be taking care of the mall. We're going to be the best security in the entire state.
And what's funny is, I guess it is just a presentation, and not a presentation where they're trying to convince people to sign off on it. Because
No.
they show this, and then it's like those robots are up and running like that night or the next day.
Yeah.
So I don't know who they were really trying to convince, because those robots were ready to go.
And these people had some, I feel like, legit troubleshooting questions that you would have asked prior, like
Yeah.
at
Like
the
what happens if someone
pre-launch.
gets stuck in the mall at night?
Yeah, which is inevitably like they're setting up what's
The
going to
plot of
happen.
the movie,
Like
yeah.
what's going to happen because there's robots and then there's these secure doors. They're really like high steel. They kind of remind me of the doors in Alien.
Yeah, like
how
outer
they close.
space doors
Yeah.
that like vacuum seal lock,
They're the
airlock.
security doors, and that's the question that they have the most is like, what happens if somebody gets trapped in here overnight and there's like a fire? Are they going to be able to get out? Are these robots going to kill? And so they're like, no,
they
these
don't
security
kill.
measures have already been considered. Everything's fine. You should just be excited that we're about to have this high technology in the mall.
In our mall.
In our mall, protecting our property at nighttime.
And she's like, these robots are really nice. They've babysat my babies a few times. And they've always taken really good care of them. They've
Here's
even
my
powdered.
babies.
They
And-
even powdered their bottoms and tucked them into bed. So
The babies are dead. And she's
Oh,
in
God.
denial. She holds them up, just like, see, they're fine.
You just went really dark.
Their necks are all flopping around. And
Oh, like in Mother?
Yes!
Oh my God.
terrible! Ah!
We just went down a dark, dark hole.
Sorry.
And I don't know if I'll ever climb out of it, but I'll try. Here we go.
Okay, climb out. You've got to climb out of it. Okay, no more dead babies. So
Oh my God.
we find out about these killer robots. We get our Angus Scrim cameo. not really a cameo. He is a character, but there he is. He's there, and we get those eating Raoul.
Yeah, cameo. We're on, like, of course, the roughest patch of road right now. I'm like, this always happens when we decide
when
to
we
record.
need to, like, to explain something, but of course. And so, okay, yeah, we just get this, here's the robots. They're going to be in the mall, deal with it, and then we get an amazing credit sequence.
It's it's like the most 80s mall credit sequence you've ever seen.
It's 80s thriving mall culture.
And there's a lot of, like, just little funny things going on. Like, there's a little boy who kind of gets stuck in an elevator. He has an ice cream cone, and everyone packs into the elevator. When they all get off, the ice cream's all over him because it got,
melted. You go lick
squished
it,
all over him.
There's beauty contestants walking around. I'm like, they're all in their bikinis, but they all have ribbons, and so I don't know if somebody's already won something and they're just waltzing around.
And there's like a guy that's really horny for them.
Yeah,
like,
who falls over on the escalator. And
very like SNL horny, like the
I'm going to trip and fall over.
My dick got hard in 5 seconds.
My dick got hard. Say dick.
My dick.
My dick.
My dick got hard.
What else? Oh, we get the food court kind of like...
Yeah, the girl spilling all the drinks on everybody.
I love the musical composition, the score, the soundtrack of the movie is great. It's definitely synth.
Remember, I spotted Joey from Nightmare on Elm Street 3. It's like a 2-second shot of him, but I'm convinced that is Joey from Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
And it's him prior to it.
Yes, and one of the actors later on that we'll meet was, what's the nerdy guy's name? The
Ferdy.
Wizard. Yeah, Ferdy in this movie, but he's the Wizard in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I cannot think of his character's name right now. But I've seen that movie a million times. But, anyways.
But we can tell that it's him, and due to the association, it's like we're pretty determined. We're convinced.
And I believe those movies came out pretty close together. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 might have already come... It might have been the same year, honestly.
86?
Yeah, because...
84?
One was 84. It might have been either the same year or year after. We'll have to look it up later. Okay. We'll tell you in part 2. We'll write it down.
We'll look it up.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
See, because it might have been 86, might have been 87.
Yeah. I almost wonder if they were filming Nightmare on Elm Street. He's like, hey, I'm doing this movie Chopping Mall.
You want to just like be an extra? Because I'm doing Chopping Mall and he needs extras. Mm-hmm. Well, he plays this like an extra who's trying to steal something from...
he has like a TV under his shirt. Or not even a TV.
It's in a box. We have
record.
no idea.
I think it's
but
a record.
It is from like a record store, But that's funny. And we get, what else? What's going on? Yeah, I just love all the escalators and elevators. That really reminds me of mall trips.
The 80s music.
We have a Dillard's in the, well, now where we live, the mall that's close to us, no one really goes to anymore. But it used to be so cool and like 3 stories, and there was a Dillard's that had all of these escalators in it. I just remember running around. So that, like, that little bit brings back nostalgia.
Yeah.
I love this movie, I think, because of how much it resonates with
And one of the things about this
life.
The movie that's perfect is its running time. It's only an hour and 16 minutes. Doesn't overstay its welcome.
No.
Kind of gets to the point right away.
It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Like, it does all the things that so many movies that are 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I'm sitting there wondering, what? It's good. It's good like that for sure. Running time wise. The next we get after the sequence is the pizzeria shop.
Yeah, we're gonna meet some of our characters.
We meet Susie and Allison. Susie is Barbara Crampton's character, and then Allison is Kelly Maroney's character.
Yes.
So they play servers. You can tell based on the conversation, even though it isn't actually mentioned, that Allison is rather new. Not maybe new to the area, but new to working at the mall. And so Susie's taken her under her wing and wants her to meet some more friends that work at the mall, and then some friends that don't work at the mall. But they're all going to be there at night because they're going to stay after hours at the furniture store.
And you get that Allison, or Susie, is kind of more of like the ringleader, like that Allison kind of looks up to her, that... You know, she's her protector. Susie's kind of her protector. The one's like, oh, let's go, let's have fun,
like,
we're going to do
this. Would I hook you up with somebody who's a jerk? No way.
Kind of like the fun friend that looks out for you, that kind of thing. So they seem to have like a good friendship.
Yes.
And she's like, well, call your dad. See, this is where we get about like the whole age.
Yes, because clearly Barbara Crampton's character is it isn't. It is closer to her 30s
No.
than she is to her teens filming this movie.
Yeah.
But yet, all of the characters are kind of referred to as teens, or they talk about how they had to call their parents. But then we have a group of
married
characters
couple.
that got married. So,
I mean, yes, people get married young. at
age
18,
range
but...
17 to 23. I don't know.
And when we meet those friends, they're like fixing their car, and
Yes.
I almost wonder, like, are they coming back from their honeymoon? Did they just get married?
They just got married.
What's going on?
And there's other characters that have like a store, like their parents own a store at the mall, and so the dad's really overbearing and like immediately
Yeah.
wondering why the boyfriend showed up. Like, what are you doing here?
Oh my god! And the boyfriend is like the most douchey guy of all time.
Yeah, he's always.
What's his
that's
character's
the,
name?
His name's Mike. Mike and Leslie. Leslie's gonna show us her boobies in a little bit, and she has the daddy who's really overbearing, and her boyfriend is Mike, and
Yeah.
he smacks his gum.
He is
all the
committed
time.
to this gum smacking performance. That is like his character. His character, that personality, is
He's
being horny and smacking his gum.
machismo, gum smacking.
He's
man.
funny though. Like he serves his purpose in the movie.
Yeah.
And what's funny, that actor has a really good career. Does a lot of like TV directing, but like quality television work and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh well, good for him.
John Turlecki, because he's the Deathstalker 2
Yes.
guy. So I've not seen that movie, but I know it has kind of like a cult like following of people. So whatever, I'm sure it's fun. Okay, so we learned that there's going to be like a furniture store party that night. They're all going to stay after hours, and I guess they're not too concerned about the robots. They know about the robots, and they talk about how they're going to have to take their badges.
Mm-hmm.
Because the robots after hours will only be docile to people that show their badge.
And so basically we have like 8 friends here. We have 4 girls, 4 boys. 3 of them are couples, or 3 sets are couples, and then you have Susie's
Allison.
trying to hook up Allison with this nerdy guy Ferdy, who is played by, like I said, the guy from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, playing another nerd.
Playing that, but he's cute.
A cuter nerd in this
He's
one.
like the dudes are all kind of like yuppie looking. At least they dress more polos and popped collars.
Susie's boyfriend has that weird 80s long tooth thing going on.
Stop.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Stop. He just looks like your
No,
douche guy from
the
the 80s. Like that.
He's got some tall teeth, is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you got tall teeth. You've been hung up about this like all morning talking about his long.
Well,
tooth.
anytime we've been talking about like the movie, we talk about character. I'm like, is that tall tooth?
Ow.
No, I don't mean anything by it. That's just how
Long
I think
tooth.
about him. He's got a long tooth.
If he was like a warrior,
He's a little long in the tooth.
would
isn't
he
it?
be warrior long tooth?
Yeah.
Like, no, he does have his smile. He does have really long teeth, but
Which is better than like long gums.
I guess short teeth
and a lot of
long
gums.
gums. Yeah.
I mean, but
I guess
all
it's
is beautiful.
better.
Everybody's
Yeah,
beautiful.
whatever. What are we trying to say here, though?
That's just how I distinguish him.
Oh,
that's what
how
I'm trying to
you're
say.
distinguishing him. Okay.
Oh, the 3 yuppie dudes
Out of the-
in khakis,
Yeah.
basically.
Since
No.
one of them is married and he has kind of a career too, the Russell Todd guy, because he's from Friday Part 2.
Yes. You might recognize him from that.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters. We aren't going to really differentiate too much from them. Not that they're not all great and wonderful, but they're disposable. It's kind of the purpose.
You
of
kind of
the-
get who they are
yeah.
quickly. Like, you know, there are stereotypes. You got your douchebag, who you got your nerd, you got the kind of yuppie guy that's the long tooth, then you got
The
more
resourceful couple.
yeah, the more humble, kind of more down to earth couple.
They're the ones that are coming up with the ideas of like how to defend themselves the whole time, and they always have the idea about going to the hunting store and stuff. So yeah, okay, well, let's get into this part. So a lightning storm happens while they're all partying. It's a cute scene. There's a song playing in the background called Street Walking.
Street walking,
Doing it hardcore. Street Walking.
and they're just dancing. They're 80s
Barbara Crampton
dancing,
has
jiving
dance
to-
moves I've never seen on camera before, ever. And
It's hilarious.
She's like,
I love a good 80s dance.
oh yeah, and you can kind of tell. You're a little worried, like, Is the song put in later, like, because they're all dancing, but they're not really
to the
sync?
beat. Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah. The music was added later.
kind of added in, post, and that's okay. But it's silly and fun.
We see lightning strike the mall.
Yes, and we see these technicians who both are killed, one after the other, reporting for duty. The robots, they've been electric.
And they're wearing like doctor's coats.
Yeah,
funny. I'm like, they're at the mall. Why are they wearing
they're
like...
lab techs at the mall. They're watching security cameras.
Yeah, they're basically watching security cameras.
And just making sure that at night the robots don't malfunction. But the lightning storm has caused them to... the ultimate malfunction.
It's like, sir, you can take that coat off. I don't see a beaker in sight.
Nope.
Or even a hot plate.
Or I at least don't see you doing like mathematical equations in your textbooks and stuff. Like
You're not mixing formulas.
Nope.
Or
you don't look like a science man to me, sir.
I'm sure you're important, but I think you can lose the coat if
you don't have to wear that coat. And plus, you're watching all the security cameras, so no one's going to see that you're not wearing the coat.
Just take it off. It might feel good.
Little liberating, little freedom. Hey, take your clothes off. Come on.
Just do it.
Pull your dick out. Show
it. Feel good.
Come on. Give a little tug tug. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. Who knows? You're all by yourself.
You can tell me later.
But okay, yeah. So there's 2 lab techs, and we get nice kills. Like
one through the neck. He's sitting there by himself watching a monitor, and you see the little robot just creep up behind him. He opens like a little. What would you even?
His breasts. His shirt.
He opens his breast.
Pulls his nipples
and,
out.
And like just a spear comes out and hits him in the back. Basically.
The spear. It's a nipple clamp.
Well,
he gets electrocuted by his nipples.
That it was in the unrated.
Oh,
in this version that we watched is when it goes through his neck.
Okay, I'm so sorry, guys, because I was watching since it's Jim. I decided to watch.
She thought it was the nipple clamping version.
And then there's the electrode penetration that happens.
What's
anally.
weird? People do prefer that version over the one we're talking about right
now.
The
version of perversion.
the perversion version.
Okay, so both of those techs get killed, one after the other, just basically letting you know there's no one else in the mall. They're all by themselves. Dun, dun, dun.
Guys, I think more people might die dead.
Might die dead. There's only one other person there left, the custodian. That's the Dick Miller character.
Yes.
And he gets knocked off too really quickly.
And people are being dicks to him.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what's his character's name?
You gotta work.
Don't get stuck in here again. And he's like, hey, you won't ever leave me alone about that.
I'm so mad at you. Quit giving me a hard time. And then he pulls his dick out, and
he's like, come on, let's size it up.
It's just an immediate, like, mushroom stamp contest. Who's going to make the biggest imprint?
They're like, let's make some art.
Okay, so the custodian is mopping the floor, and he gets antagonized by the robot. The robot knocks over the mop water and then shoots his little electrodes into the mop water and electrocutes him.
Like, why was he programmed to do that? It's like the program's like, when you see someone in standing water, shoot your load, shoot your electric load into it, and kill the person, basically.
Stream walking.
Who programmed him for that?
Stream walking.
It's like the magic lightning bolts, like, man, turned him murderous. Gave him like really dark thoughts.
Well, have we mentioned that there's 3 robots too?
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
3 of them. So yeah, there's not just one, because there's 3 levels of the mall. So there's a killer robot on every level.
But they do not have distinct personalities.
No. So we get the slogan, too, that he'll say. So he kills the janitor and he says, "Have a nice day."
Have a nice day.
Wonderful.
Would have been funny if they had different personalities. Like the first floor one's the goofy one. He's always falling over. The middle floor is like the mean one.
How come they did it?
The serious robot that really is out for vengeance. The third one's like the indifferent one that might help them.
You don't. He might get a conscience after all.
Like you see that in horror movies. Like, I'm thinking
instead, I'm sorry, Dave, and
Last
him and
House on the Left. That kind of vibe. Where he's like, I'm torn.
Lost Who's?
No, they're just all murderous.
And yeah, I thought maybe they'd go Three Stooges with it, but instead they went just all the same. They're just killer robots coming to chase you and come after you. Okay, cut to, we get a little social distance orgy going on with our 4 couples.
They're like, guys, let's all fuck in the same room, but you go to that part of the room and put up a divider. We'll go over here. One of the characters does say something like, and I brought the fresh sheets.
Gross. Like maybe they've done this before. Well, they're in the furniture store, and so they just use basically like the whole bedroom, living room setup to fornicate in. And there's like a living room that has a working TV playing. What is it?
And there's a funny scene where they're all fighting over the bed with the oak headboard. Like, that's the bed I want to fuck
That's
on.
the one that I'm gonna ride dick on. Yes. Oh, it's Attack of the Crab Monsters. That's the Corman that's
that they're
playing.
watching.
Yeah. So it's Ferdy and Allison, and they're sitting there because they just met and had a cute little.
Yeah, and Ferdy's bringing it. Or not Ferdy. Allison is bringing it. She's like, I'm gonna put on my blue eyeshadow, a little lipstick. I'm gonna fucking tease my hair.
A ton of hairspray.
And when he comes in, I'm gonna turn around in that chair and say, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, that's their meet cute. She's turned around and they're like, hey, Ferdy, meet Allison. And she slowly turns around all seductively and she goes, hi. And then he goes, hi. And then the friends look at each other and go, hi. Hey. Hey.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
How are ya?
Yeah, what's that?
It's cute-ish.
Yeah.
So they're watching the movie while everybody else is having sex, and really they are. I mean, one's getting like cunnilingus because she's all like, "Oh my God, you're the king!" and he's all down there munching on that pussy.
And then the other one tries to go down on his girlfriend. She's like, "No, you know we don't do that," or something like that.
You know, I only do that on Sundays. No, she's the one that wants the cigarettes too.
And she's like, go get my cigarettes, I'll pull.
Mike.
And she pulls out her titties to like
titties.
inspire him to go get the cigarettes.
Barbara Crampton does a little strip tease for us, shows us her knocker singing Strangers in Paradise.
The married couple, who I'm like, why don't you just go home? Like,
I don't get that.
You guys are married, why do you have to fuck at the mall?
Like, there's no reason. And she even, like, in the car on the way there is like, look, I brought lingerie for the mall bed that we're gonna fuck on.
It makes no sense. I'm here for it, but I'm like, okay, you guys.
Well, maybe they're performance kind of people.
Maybe it's just a kink. I guess if you have the opportunity to like stay the night in the mall and like fuck on whatever bed in the department store you want.
Yeah,
like, sure, why not?
Yeah, I'd
live
do
a
it.
little, but
YOLO. Yeah,
YOLO. You're like, you know what? It'll be a cute story to tell the grandkids.
One day, your papa was railing me so fucking hard.
Honey, back in the day there was a store called Dillard's.
There was an Aaron's furniture store inside the Mall of America.
And inside me
your
was your grandpa.
Rammed me.
I was in the mall and your grandpappy was in me. So, yeah. It's weird.
Your grandpappy?
Your grandpappy.
And your grandpappy was in me. Okay, so Leslie Titties needs some cigarettes, and so she tells
Leslie Titties.
Leslie Titties.
She's like more titties. She's not less titties.
She's definitely gifted and lifted, and
some people call her chesty.
breasty chesty. Mike, her boyfriend, I'm like, what is he about to do? I keep almost laughing and looking at you. Stop making me look at you. So she needs cigarettes, and Mike goes to get the cigarettes, but while which is 80s thing, that there's a cigarette, you can, dispenser.
Yeah, cigarette. I can remember one of those being at the skating rink.
Yes, I remember them at the skating rink.
You worked at the skating rink back in the day.
And so that to me is just hilarious. Like, who was monitoring that to make sure?
I always wondered that too. Like, as a kid, I was always tempted to go use them, but I'm like, but does like the cops show up?
Like, is somebody gonna walk over and be like, hey, 10-year-old, get away from there?
Yeah, it's like, how's that work?
And so Mike does get a pack of Virginia Slims.
But first he gets a call from Jamal.
That's hilarious.
I love this part. It's just like the weird humor that's sprinkled in. Like, as he's getting the cigarettes, the phone rings, the payphone, he answers it, and he's like, no, Jamal, there's no messages for you. And he hangs up. And you're like, It's just a funny little throwaway moment.
Yeah,
but it
that
adds
people
like a
would,
little humor.
like leave a pay phone number as their number in the hopes that if someone called, they'd leave a message there. It's so funny. I love it.
I miss payphones. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't. I love having
yeah.
a cell phone. No, I don't miss them. But I will say, in the moment, it was kind of fun when you were a kid.
One of those
you hear
just
one
like,
ring, you'd be like,
"Aw,
oh, should I answer it?
Should I answer it?
Yeah.
Why would just someone be calling the payphone? Okay, so, but we got a robot. A robot comes up, and even though Mike shows him his pass, where's your pass? Sorry, a little Freddy came out in me.
I'm gonna have to fix that.
Sorry,
editing.
yeah. Would you edit that? Because I
If you
screamed
turn that down a
in the
little
mic
bit.
just now. Where's your pass?
And he shows it, but this one is out for blood. He doesn't care about a fucking pass.
Nope, he chokes him and deep throats him.
And cuts slices his neck in the process, I guess, of
Yeah,
choking him.
because he's got those steel kind of clampy hands.
Almost like when you play the claw machine at a video.
Yes, that is kind
a
of
video
what
arcade place or wherever.
the Hans of the Killbots look like. And so Leslie, chesty breasty Leslie, is like, I need those cigarettes. Where the hell has Mike gone to?
She's like, I'm gonna go look at my panties that are up my crack right now.
I've got crack panties on, and I'm
not panties I smoke crack in, but
No.
panties that I like to strategically pull up
my
my
crack
ass
panties.
for when the camera
Yeah.
is right on my ass.
Yes.
Those panties.
We now call those TikTok leggings, but in the 80s they were crack panties.
They were regular granny panties that you just pulled up your ass.
Just pulled a wedgie.
Yeah.
So she goes in search and she finds him, but he's got this gash in his neck, and he even squirts some blood out of the gash. And she freaks out.
It sets her off, screaming
She
and
is
running.
Screaming her head off. She sees the killbot. It starts shooting laser beams
Yeah, it
at
hits her a couple times, but they don't really hurt her, which I don't
It's
get.
weird.
They just kind of push her forward a little.
I love how the laser beams push her forward here, but in other
Yes.
scenes, they're going to obliterate a steel door. They're going to
blow her head off,
which is great. That's the moment.
That's a great gag.
It's also the moment at the end, at the credit sequence at the end, when they're showing each character,
Yeah.
and her character comes up. They do the blow up moment of her skull or her whole face. It's just, I love that. And it's really gory in the best sense. There's matter spraying everywhere.
Yep. So she gets killed. She gets her head blown off.
And her friends see
Everybody
it.
see it because they heard her screaming and running down the hall, and they saw her get hit a couple times. But then she just does that weird thing where she just stands there screaming. That just happens a couple times. Later, there's another character. I'm like, well, stop, drop, and roll.
What, Barbara Crampton?
Yeah,
she's laying on the floor. At least
stop,
get your
drop, and roll.
ass up.
Get
Run.
up. Yeah, run. And then when you get caught on fire, stop, drop, and roll.
Don't understand it.
They teach you that in kindergarten.
That I know,
Preschool.
right? That's what we got to teach the childrens. Okay, guys, they gotta know.
Teach them stop, drop, and roll. It's very
Stop,
important.
drop, and roll, because clearly Susie didn't know.
Susie didn't know.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe if she had known, we would have had a different outcome.
Oh no, are we victim blaming her?
No, I'm just saying.
Had she known?
The
she'd
people
have
that
done
taught
better.
her,
Oh,
the
damn.
education
Oh,
system
shit.
is to blame. They didn't teach her stop,
Preach.
drop, and roll.
That's preach.
Susie would be alive if she had been taught stop,
God
drop,
damn
and roll.
it, Susie! Okay, we're not even there yet.
Damn
Susie.
you,
Okay.
school board.
So the friends are like, holy shit, we just watched our friend's face blow off. Let's go figure out what to do. And they hide in the back area of the furniture store as the killbots are trying to break in.
They're obliterating the store. It's like, well, there go all those fresh sheets. They're gone now. They're all blown up.
They're at least stained. And more than
Yeah.
what typically they were
Common
stained.
bullets and lasers, little puss juice probably too.
They have the idea.
I'm sorry I said that.
Push juice. You are so. I wanted to. Okay.
I'm sorry.
God. So they make this plan that they're gonna get up in the air ducts and they're gonna climb around in there. But
It's a good plan.
Yeah,
they're gonna go to the third, or they're gonna try to get to the other side, or down a few levels, right? Something like that.
Well, the plan immediately
to get out.
Yeah, they're wanting to get out through the air ducts, but only the girls make it up there, and the guys have to make a run for it because the bots show up and they're shooting their laser beams, and so they get separated. And the guys decide to go to the kind of outdoors hunting store. They find rifles, and the girls are just stuck up in the air duct. What do they do? Susie's having this mental breakdown.
And they think the killbots know they're up in the air ducts because the heater has been turned on.
And they getting real hot.
And they try to play it off like Susie's like, hey, where we work at the little grill with the nasty people. We forgot to mention the nasty scene in the movie is their boss at the fast food joint they work in has this white t-shirt on that's just covered in filth. And you see him wiping spoons and stuff on it. It's just nasty.
Yeah. It's just like a guy who's sitting overeating.
Well, there's two of them.
Yeah,
there's the guy that works there and then the overeater.
And
they're both
nasty and more butter.
It's not even that he's overeating. It's the way they art direct him.
Yeah.
You know?
What he's wearing is coated in food.
His makeup.
He's got
they make him
food all over his face. He's rude to the server.
And then the customer just goes, I want more butter.
Yeah. It's not flattering at least.
So anyway, she alludes hey, we deal with grosser shit, hotter stuff at the fast food joint.
But it is heating up, and so they decide to drop down the air duct that takes them to the automotive store. This mall has everything.
It has it all.
It has
paint shops,
everything.
Which is kind of true, I guess, to when malls first started. And then towards the end of mall culture, stores were dwindling.
I don't understand that in a way, because it's here you get to have all of the stores that you want to go to all in one place instead of driving all around town to get to them.
Yeah.
But now we have online, so that's our mall, the online mall.
Ruined the brick and mortar shop.
Brick and mortar no more when you got the Amazon store.
Brick and mortar no more when you got the Amazon store.
Okay, so the killbots start to go after the guys. They have guns, they have propane, they blow up a killbot. There's some good effects going on here.
A lot of good fire. I love fire.
Yeah, because then there's also laser beams that don't look too good. But the effects that are really good, all of the pyrotechnics and the stunts too, because there's people that are dropping from levels of the different stores, somebody falls off a balcony, and we got somebody who falls onto a kiosk but uses it as kind of a little parachute thing to break her fall. It's good. There's some good stunts in here. Love it.
Yeah, you would think, I know this movie's very kind of cheesy in a lot of ways, but I felt like the director, Jim, we'll just call him Jim, showed some promise. He can handle special effects, chase sequence,
and he keeps doing that. There's tons of other movies that he makes and that are more action than horror driven.
So I feel like he does a good job keeping the movie very concise, keeping it moving.
Time is money.
Just kind of surprised he didn't get bigger work after this, and that he then went to the Skinamax universe.
Or maybe it was
that's what he wanted.
He's
an artist. That's his art.
An artiste. Okay, so they decide with all of the trappings that they have that they're going to make a trap in the elevator, and they're getting that all set up when the girls start screaming for help because a robot is after them, and this is where Susie dies.
Oh, yeah, they all get away but Susie, and
she's lit on fire.
She stumbles, but then she doesn't get up.
No, she's crawling, and I get it, the laser beams, but
roll away. Do something.
You gotta run away. The thing is on rollers itself. It's gonna get there eventually.
It's a very kind of Austin Powers-y moment where it just keeps going, where they're somebody's gotta help her, and it keeps cutting to her just screaming as this, just laying there screaming as this killbot comes.
Slowly rolling.
Cuts to another kid. You're like, we gotta do something. Goes back to her.
Someone help!
It's she can help herself at this point.
Yeah, she could be doing more.
But no, she gets lit on fire, and again, she has not stopped, drop, and roll.
No, and I've got to think that in the age of commercial PSAs that the 80s were, that she did hear something about stop, drop, and roll.
Maybe she only cared about Dare.
Oh,
And
yeah. Or protecting herself from
And
forest
she
fires.
threw out, so she threw out all the fire safety she learned.
Yes.
I mean, they would have given her a little red hat, and she still forgot.
She forgot. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, guys.
So,
I'm sorry,
R.I.P.
we
Susie.
had to. Yeah.
And her boyfriend, Talltooth, is.
He's not handling it well.
He's not handling it well. I feel, yeah.
But they do. Okay, so they escape into an elevator, and they get the killbot they coax the killbot to the elevator as well. They shoot their guns. This propane thing explodes. The elevator drops and then crushes.
Yeah, that's a really cool shot too.
Robot.
The elevator just falling down on fire.
I love that.
But here comes another killbot.
There's one this scene here. You have two reveals, which is like another killbot's on its way, and that the first killbot that the guys thought that they had blown up, they didn't. In fact, it like awoke, and so they're back like it, which is annoying because you're like, oh yay, they just killed the second killbot. No,
here you go.
So back to two killbots on the road,
and they're like, damn it.
They get the idea as they're all hunkered down crying and trying to like figure out the resources. They know they can't get outside because the doors have sealed shut, and they're worried that they're not going to survive the night. So they're like, what do we do? How do we get out of this situation? And they get the idea to get up to the third floor
and
so
have
they
another
can
orgy.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So they can have another orgy and get their balls
waxed.
Finally, well, I have to imagine that not everybody finished.
I thought this was the scene where they went and got their Brazilians and their balls waxed.
Well, there is the massage salon. It's closed, but they do use all of the paraffin wax and get to the hand dips and stuff. You're right.
That's
that's
in the deleted
happen.
version. That's the deleted. That's in that same version you like.
Yes, it's the hot stone massage.
Yeah.
And then
they pamper the robots,
they're
but that doesn't work, and the robots still want to kill everybody.
And they're like, okay, we're gonna go onto the third floor, get onto the roof, so we can knock out the big computer that's controlling.
I'm kind of like, why didn't they think of this in the first place?
Exactly.
Like, let's go to the
takes
mainframe and shut it down.
Like a friend on fire, another friend's face blows off.
Yeah, and then hasn't what's his name been thrown over?
That
Greg?
happens when they start to head up to.
Okay,
yeah. So they decide we're gonna make our way up to the third floor. On their way to the third floor, there's another attack, and our long-toothed friend Greg,
he doesn't make it.
He falls off the third floor balcony.
He's thrown overboard.
And he plummets to his death. He dies from impact, I guess.
So, you know what's great? It's a love story. Susie and Greg
Star-crossed lovers.
Together forever.
Forever. Yes.
Yep.
Amen. Together forever. Amen.
Fucking beautiful.
Oh, man. Okay, so again, while they're hiding in another area of the store, they're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to set up... this frustrates me, too, because I'm like, how does mirrors not crack? They set up dummies and mirrors so that the laser beam will refract and bounce off and knock the
mannequins are there to lure them in, to like trick them, like, oh, there they are, there's the four friends we're after. And then they like, it's this funny reveal where they're waiting behind the mirror, and as they get closer to the dummies, they whisk off a blanket that's over the mirror.
Yes.
And they're shooting, and then so it starts ricocheting back at the killbots.
I don't get it. I don't understand, because a friend's head just got blown off. So why does this item not blow the mirror?
And I also don't understand why a mirror is the only thing that would have bounced it back.
Yeah. I mean, is it more reflection, refraction?
I guess
Because there
it's
could have
a
been
laser
so many elements.
I guess.
Here we are being scientists without our lab coats.
Yeah.
But we digress. So in this moment is when our married couple, so her name's Linda, she gets hit by one of the refracted laser beams and dies.
It gets her good.
And so her husband decides, like, he's just really upset. He goes down to the sports and outdoor place and gets a golf cart and
he's gonna run him over.
Has this Rambo moment of running over the killbot, but then It's the electric cart that does him in and electrocutes the robot and sizzles him up, but then sizzles him up. And
those killbots will use electricity at their own advantage any chance they get.
even if it means to their destruction.
Yep.
One more life.
It's kind of like a bee. A bee
Oh,
will
that's
sting
true.
you even though it's gonna die.
That's true.
I always want to do like
That's
bees know
poetic.
they're gonna die. Like, are they like, oh shit, me protecting myself means I get to die too? That doesn't make sense. R.I.P. me.
Yeah, deuces, two middle fingers up.
I
It's
just
like
fucked up a human. Bye.
peace out. Is it the same for like praying mantis? Like they're gonna get their heads eaten, but they're gonna
Love it.
finish.
Yeah,
So
it's their fetish.
I get it's their one-time fetish.
Yeah, fuck me and eat my head. Like,
Waited my whole life for this moment. Oh God, I'm no longer a virgin and I'm being murdered. Okay, so now we're down to Ferdy and Allison, and they're still trying to make it to the computer, and Ferdy
she has
decides to kind of sacrifice himself, distract the robot because it's going after Allison.
And so Allison just books for it. She's trying to find a hiding spot. She ends up in the pet shop, right?
Yes, she gets like injured falling off of that.
And she gets shot one time too when they're
Yeah.
trying to slide under a door. She gets shot in the arm. So she's kind of beat up a little bit.
And Ferdy is hit with something that one of the robots throws. It hits him in the head, and you see a pool of blood. So we, immediately think he's dead. And so Allison runs into the pet store to hide, but of course all the animals.
Yeah, and she has to get under like a countertop. Or no, it's not a counter, it's a shelf. And she's hiding under the shelving unit. And of course, because of all the lasers that have been flying, all the animals are out. And we're talking creepy crawly moment.
Ew!
Snakes. There's tarantulas.
Josh's favorite.
This would be worse for me than the killbot coming after me. If I'm laying there hiding and there's like snakes and.
Do you think you wouldn't be able to like refrain from screaming?
I would be screaming. The tarantula wouldn't bother me as much.
The tarantula would piss me the fuck off.
The
like
snakes
not
crawling
now.
on me would piss.
Oh yeah, we would.
They
be
wouldn't
pissed.
piss me off. I would be pissing.
I would be like, I am not being done in. Not this moment. Not by you, bitch. Not by no one.
But finally, the killbot goes. He leaves, and she's like, all right, I got another plan. I'm going to make it to the DuPont store. Or she ends up going to, like, the paint shop, right?
Yeah, it's like an Williams, not
Yeah.
Williams Sonoma, but a Sherman-Williams kind of like paint store.
And she's like, I'm going to fuck this place up with some paint. And
I'm throwing paint thinner everywhere.
we're going to try some new colors on this wall.
I'm going to make a mess. I swear to God, I'm going to make a mess.
She's like, this killbot hates a mess. I'm going to make one.
And he comes in because he's like, where is the mess? Oh my God. There's paint everywhere.
But she's like, guess what, motherfucker? Paint is flammable.
And she has a flare from
earlier in the movie.
from the outdoor store, and she throws it, and everything explodes. Another like really awesome pyrotechnic explosion happens. The killbot is killed. Like there's parts of him that come flying at her. She's hunkered down, and there's like a hand.
Guys, we have to pause to do our hilarious little ritual. Goodbye, Missouri. Thanks for taking care of us
Bye, Missouri.
today. We enjoyed driving
We're
through
beautiful
you.
and wonderful.
Hello, Iowa.
Oh my God, Iowa! It's our first
We've
time.
never been here.
We've literally never been to the plains
Keep
of
us
Iowa.
safe today, Iowa.
It's
Love you,
already
girl.
picturesque and beautiful.
Oh, I know. We love you,
Take
Iowa.
care of us, Iowa. You're so lovely.
Okay, so back. We don't want to die, okay?
No,
so we got to
and
do our ritual.
That's our ritual. We always tell the state we're leaving goodbye, and
say,
we
hello.
give salutations to the one we're entering. It's only respectful.
And then we say, like, take care of us, okay? Please.
Yeah, which I mean, if it's your first time with someone, don't you say
If
take
someone
care
was
of me?
entering me,
Take care of me.
I would just say, take care of me. Oh, God. I'm getting a cramp.
Stop! Don't! We can't cramp now! He's on his period, guys!
Take care of me.
Okay, so the robot is done, and Allison is safe. She's sad.
She's safe but sad.
She's all by herself.
She's like, oh man, I like finally found a nerd that likes me.
And he's dead.
And he's dead. And he was a cute nerd.
Plot twist! He's
Oh. Guys, happy ending. The killbots are dead and Ferdy's alive.
Ferdy screams, Allison! And she does that whip around again, like reminiscent of the beginning of that movie.
Oh, Kelly Maroney gives the cutest little smile to him at the end.
Kelly Maroney wants to play with baloney, so bring it over. And so he does.
He's like, hey, babe, here's my baloney. Kelly Maroney.
Ferdy's like, we got about 30 minutes before people show up here for the mall opening, and you gotta suck this baloney, girl.
She's like, alright, boo, we survived. I'm sucking, you sucking, right?
And so Ferdy and Allison have survived the robot mall massacre.
And so they 69 right there.
Right there. She scissors him.
And and this is like showing us where Jim Norowski's career is going to go.
Is right there.
He's like, here,
yes.
guys, I really want to go into the soft core world. So I showed you this awesome movie. So I'm here's some 69.
And Allison says, Mr. Wynorski, can I play with your Jorski? And she's jerking him. Oh my god.
We were fucking stupid.
Why? Why? Why did we say this shit? It's
because we're best friends.
I always forget that I'm holding a recorder and that this
we're like,
is
oh, people hear this. It's
IRL.
not just us trying to make each other laugh right now.
No, I mean,
and we hope we're making you laugh.
Like, yeah, if we're not making you laugh, I'm sorry. You're not funny then. Okay.
Anyways, guys, we're in Iowa. We're getting closer to Minnesota. We're really excited to get to the Mall of America tomorrow. We're excited to get to Minneapolis today.
Yes,
we're
gonna eat fun things planned.
Oh, we're gonna have some Juicy Lucy's.
Oh, Juicy Lucy, guys! It's when you make the patty burger. It's a burger, and so the hamburger is stuffed with cheese. So when you bite in it, it's so juicy. That cheese so loose.
It's like Lucy Juicy.
It's juicy.
It's apparently like a very popular thing in Minnesota, Minneapolis. So we're gonna eat some Juicy Lucy's tonight.
Is that ass? Juicy Lucy's?
It could be.
Oh, well, I think we're gonna find something really good. We're gonna try to go to Matt's, right? That's the place. I got it written down somewhere. Okay, we'll be back, guys.
Stay tuned. We'll be back in 2 seconds.
See ya.
Hey guys, we are back. We are driving through beautiful Minnesota on Interstate 35 South and home.
We're headed home, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma with...
Oh, wow.
Whatever. We're not getting into that.
No.
Sorry, guys.
We're not going to get into that because what we're getting into was our trip to Minneapolis.
But first, we have a little bit of housekeeping. We looked things up. You know, in the first part of the episode, we said some things that weren't true. Or we speculated and we looked things up. Okay.
You want me to take it from here?
You take it from here.
Okay, all right. So we talked about how we were so sure that Ferdy was the same guy who played Will the Wizard in Nightmare 3.
Not true.
And yeah. Long story short, not true at all. We completely made that up because we make things up.
Well, we were making connections where there weren't connections. You do see Joey, the actor that played Joey in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, for like a split second in that mall montage that we talked about, which is honestly one of my favorite parts of the movie, too.
That's a true story, and that is not fabrication. It's not fabulation.
Yeah. He's in there, and so I guess like that guy just looks so similar. I don't know what we were thinking, but it's not the same actor. So that's okay. We made a mistake, and we're owning it.
Yeah, it's okay, Josh. You are an amazing, wonderful soul survivor.
You know, sometimes my Virgo self doesn't like to admit defeat.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely. As a perfectionist, I'm like, no way, I got it wrong. How?
No, you're wrong.
How?
But anyways, we wanted to say that. But now we're gonna get into our trip. We're gonna save Mall of America and tell you about that for last. But we're gonna jump in. We had a great couple days here in Minnesota, and we just want to tell you about our time in Minneapolis.
It was glorious. It was fabulous. It was filled with libations. And hey guys, Minnesota knows how to make a good drink.
Yeah, we had lots of good cocktails. We went to a place called... All right, you want to start from the beginning? First night.
We checked in. Okay, yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, we'll just talk about... We checked into our hotel. Downtown. Literally outside our door was... the Mary Tyler Moore
statue.
And a little statue where she, is about to toss her hat up in the air, kind of like It's oh my God, it's so
Make
cute.
it after all.
She's precious. So that was nice getting down there and being like, oh my gosh, the moment we were driving in.
Oh, we were basic bitches too. We went out there and we were tossing my hat, taking pictures.
We had to. The community demanded it of us, Josh.
I mean, when in Rome.
When in Rome. But at our hotel, they had an amazing like lounge and restaurant, but we actually didn't ever eat at the restaurant. We just went to the
Drink it
lounge.
up. That's why we're a little hungover today, because we began our trip at the Joliet House and we ended our trip at the Joliet House.
And we had so many wonderfully made signature cocktails that are also like, they use tons of just ingredients that were directly from Minneapolis. And just so yummy. They even use like real maple syrup. You know they got it from Canada because they're right next to them.
Or they might have got it from Minnesota. You know.
Oh yeah, that's true
they
too.
got them maple trees in Minnesota.
We drove by them. We saw them. Oh,
yeah.
And so yeah, we did that. We went to.
Then we went to Matt's.
Matt's Juicy Lucy.
Oh man.
It
was good.
Everything.
I mean, they even warn you, like, be careful, it's going to be hot. But did we care? No, we bit right into it. We luckily didn't get burned, but we have videos of it just, like, the cheese spewing out in our first bite. Like, it was amazing.
And not spewing out of our mouths, but out of the burger.
Out of the burger and my mouth. Like, it was just coming out everywhere.
It was leaking. It was leaking.
There was some leakage.
And there was, like, these
wonderful
the
fries.
onions, the fries, the beer. That we had just all kinds of good local brews as well.
Because the next day, after the Mall of America, we went to Utah Pills. That was yesterday.
Which was a German brewery, and we had these shot skis, and they gave us 5 to try on the shot ski. We felt real fancy. We were there. We were hanging out with the locals.
We even took a little trip over to Wisconsin for a second, just to say we've been to Wisconsin, because the Twin Cities are like right on the LaCroix River. There's like the Mississippi River goes right through town. And then you have the LaCroix.
We're thinking that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's like the drink.
I mean, it's definitely French, and it did remind us of that drink. So.
So we went. There's this cute little town called Hudson. We went over there for about an hour, walked around the river. We saw tons of kids like putting corsages on and taking pictures with their moms and dads for prom. It took us back. But
we attended prom not together. We weren't each other's dates.
We went like with a big group of friends.
We were way too cool to feel like we needed to all have a date. We dated everybody in the group.
There was probably like 7 or 8 of us that all went together.
If not more, yeah. Like there were a ton of us that hung out but did not spend our time on the LaCroix River passing out corsages. Yeah, so we hopped over to Wisconsin.
We hopped over to Wisconsin.
And did that, and that was cute. Josh gave me his corsage. I gave him a boutonniere.
And with corsage and boutonniere, that means I hit her in the titty and she kicked me in the nuts. That's
that is what happened.
Each other corsage and boutonniere.
Corsage boutonniere. Okay, and then we went to last night was so amazing. We went to the diner. It's big diner culture in Minnesota. I guess maybe just in that area. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think Minneapolis stuff. There's a lot of diners, but this is supposed to be one of the
places. It's mentioned. We didn't think it was specifically that high-low that was mentioned.
And you know what? It's the kind of diner where you can get cocktails. Yeah,
yes.
No, it wasn't the one from Robert Altman's Prairie Home Companion. Yeah, that one I think is more in St. Paul.
We were getting a little confused because it was
this
the same name.
This one's close to St. Paul, or maybe is in St. Paul, but it's not right across from the theater.
But it was. Oh wow. Okay, so good food. Gary fucking Cooper, Josh.
So the Gary Cooper, he was an actor back in the day, but here in Minnesota, the Gary Cooper is a donut, a glazed donut with fried chicken, maple syrup, and white pepper gravy.
Oh.
And it's fucking fabulous.
Oh. My God.
We had those with a couple Manhattans or something.
Yes. We had Manhattans, Palomas. What else? What was the other? Oh, we got wings. Holy moly. We ate so well, but we also didn't overeat, and that was an awesome thing too. We did a lot of shareables. We ate responsibly because we needed to drink responsibly.
Yes.
Oh, and we had some cheese curds.
Oh,
nothing like getting to have some Wisconsin cheese curds, knowing that you were.
Yeah. I think these were Minnesota cheese curds.
No, the bags of Wisconsin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was at Utapil, so that was nice having some German beer and just some cheese curds. They just really know how to pair it up
Yeah,
there.
we had a good time yesterday, but let's get to the main event, shall we?
The good time was
the Mall of America.
Holy shit.
And you know what? We knew it was going to be a good time when we got there and they had free parking, bitches.
Yes, because in our days, everything is like...
People love to pay, like, make you pay for parking.
And why is parking $25?
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. But so we were prepared.
We were like, yay. And then we parked really high up anyways, because, you know, it's one of those huge garages. And we're like, let's just go up high.
Well, the mall has like
4 levels.
4 levels. And so but the parking garage had like 6 or 7, 8 levels. It was insane.
And we got there right at opening. So the first hour and a half, 2 hours there, it was pretty empty. And we went and had some of the best Belgian waffles we've ever had. And this is coming from 2 people that have been to Belgium and have had waffles in Belgium.
Have literally had the little carts in Brussels make us some waffles.
She had hers with chocolate. I had mine with strawberries. But this place in the Mall of America, do you remember the name? Oh shit, it's called like Waffles and
Dings.
Yeah, Waffles and Dings or Dingies, or I don't even know how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
But seriously, guys, one of the best waffles I've ever had in my life. I had mine with peanut butter.
We both had that.
Yeah, we both had the one with peanut butter, whipped cream, and then cookie crumbles on top.
Cookie crumbles.
And they had really good coffee. We had some cold brew.
Yes. I got mine with the maple syrup again because I was all about that. Like,
in case you haven't noticed, we love a food adventure as much as we love a horror adventure.
I just try to make it all, like, if I'm just going out, I'm showing out, here I am, world. Okay, also...
But then that got us all energized and
yes,
ready for the day.
It was like we had our espresso, we had our sugar high, and next thing you know, we're walking around all 3 levels.
Four levels.
4 levels, and then all the stores too. There was like 500 and bajillion stores. There was a Prince store.
The Prince store was really cool. It was like all kinds of Prince merchandise, music. Of course, they had this music playing. And they had memorabilia. Memorabilia.
And there was like these fun stores to go in that were nothing but like games, like just board games.
This guy almost sold us this $50 board game.
Almost.
He almost talked us into it.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, it's in my Amazon cart. Might still get it. We'll see.
It had a weird name, like
Secret Hitler.
A Secret Hitler.
Yeah.
It's like where you're trying to like figure out who in your group is
the
like
fascist.
And guys, we're starting to get some rain. You might hear a little pitter
patter on our drive.
If you haven't already, it's just getting louder. But yeah, and there were also like all these like virtual reality places where you could go and play virtual reality games, or even places where it was like pay $5 for an hour and play our, whatever console you want to play.
Yeah,
Xbox,
check out our Xbox.
PS4 or Nintendo.
We don't know those because I don't play those. Josh, you have a couple of games, consoles, but
the last one I bought was the Nintendo. Which one did I have? No, the Nintendo U. And that was a lot of fun. I just haven't played in a long time. I would like to get a Switch. It's just
you gotta switch it up.
I gotta switch it up. But anyways, we went to like all kinds of stores. They have a little bit of everything. I mean, obviously it's the Mall of America, 7th biggest mall in the world.
Was the M&M store?
Yes,
best store.
We got M&Ms with our faces put on.
Well, Mother's Day's coming up, and we just thought, like, what?
And by the time you listen to this, Mother's Day would have already happened.
Well, yeah. So for Mother's Day, guys, we got our moms M&Ms with our faces on them because we want to melt in their mouth and not in their hands.
Yeah, because I melt in your mouth, not in your hands. But you know what? When it comes to my mother, I don't want to be melting anywhere.
That's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mom, sorry.
But it was so much fun. The M&M store was great. It was also just like pretty to look at.
And it was 3-4 levels.
M&Ms
like there's elevators.
Oh,
sorry.
yes.
We're so excited we're talking over each other. Yesterday was just amazing.
Well, what else?
I mean, let me just say, Mall of America, huge tourist trap. But it's like the coolest tourist trap.
Yes, there are even just so many stores that are just dedicated to Minnesota.
Yeah, you can go to a mall anywhere probably. I mean, most of them are shutting down these days. So it kind of was very cool to go walk around a huge mall for hours. I haven't done that in a decade or two.
Yeah.
Just walked around a mall for hours. And so it did kind of take us back to that 80s feeling of like Chopping Mall, and that's and that's one of the things about Chopping Mall. It's not like a cultural milestone. You know, not a lot of people know about Chopping Mall, but it really encapsulates the 80s perfectly.
Yeah,
like,
it was so nice to walk around there, and
80s culture.
It was a perfect fit.
And
to
it
go
felt
see
like
the Mall of America.
It's obviously not the same mall. We talked about that earlier. It's the Sherman Oaks Mall and the Beverly Hills.
But again, real grand.
Yeah, like we were getting Chopping Mall vibes. We're like, oh, I could see this.
Them all running around and hiding in different stores, and
so that was a lot of fun. And we rode rides.
Yeah, I was like, their mall did not have the rides that our mall
had. Yeah, the Chopping Mall didn't have a Nickelodeon Universal theme park in the middle of it.
Insane. I mean, like, sure, I've seen it in the movies like Mighty Ducks and stuff, but like, wow, guys, it's literally, there's an entire theme park inside the mall. It's huge.
And we didn't get to go in it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. We were a little confused on how things worked. We knew that it was down to like 25% capacity in the theme park, but how to get in, we didn't really understand.
We didn't really understand.
And I guess when we got there, we should have put our name on the list right away.
There was a QR scan to put your name on the wait list to enter, but also that QR scan was available to people not yet in the mall. Like, so there were people that already signed up that were like...
Which is what we should have done, because we didn't... Sometimes,
guys,
we do our research, but things might go over our heads a little.
Yeah, because it does say, like, you can get the tickets there. So it wasn't like I just straight up, or that we were like, no, we'll just wait till we get there. Like, on the website, it does say you can, but...
Basically, like, probably 2 hours into being there, we signed up, and they told us it would be a 2 hours wait or more, 2 hour minimum. So let's say we were there 4 or 5 hours, and then we left. 2 hours after we've already been gone, we got a text saying, like, now you can come in. And we're like, sorry, guys, we've been gone for a couple hours now.
Right. We had actually already returned from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That's like, and that's also how close Wisconsin is to where we were.
Right, yeah.
But yes, we had already gone to Wisconsin, taken our prom photos and our awesome gowns, and then come back, and we're in Minneapolis again, and we got that text message.
But I'll say I'm not too upset about it, because yesterday we still got to ride stuff and have that. We rode this thing called Flying America, which, if you've ever been to Disney, it's exactly like Soarin', but this one is opened up a little bit more. You go over other things in America, it's just America. It's not the world. Like,
yeah. But that was really cute, and I love.
You want to tell them our favorite dumb moment?
At one point, we're flying over America, and it's taking us over one of the cities, and Josh and I recognize quite a bit of what we're seeing, and so we're like, oh my gosh, what's that?
We're like, what city is this? It looks familiar. I can't point it. Is that like Indianapolis?
What is this?
Well, we get off the ride, and there's a map of everything you just saw on the ride, and that city was Minneapolis. We're like, oh, God, it's where we are right now. That's why it looks so familiar.
But so the trip to the mall was great. The only thing we didn't really see was killer bots. We didn't see any kill bots.
That had to be disappointing. I would think a place as high tech and as ambitious as the Mall of America.
Say it.
A place that is always trying to be the forefront of what's new in shopping and retail.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
You would think that they would have fucking kill bots, damn it.
I did not see one. Not one! Okay, but the movie we watched had 3.
We did have one disappointing meal overall.
Oh, I was gonna just completely gloss over that.
We gotta tell them.
Okay, guys, fuck a Wahlburgers.
Fuck Wahlburgers.
Never fucking go to a Wahlburgers.
I'm sorry if you guys like it, but they had the shittiest drinks. It was like, it was probably not even like
a quarter of a shot.
In the drink.
I did not pay for sugar water.
And tell me, if you order something called cheeseburger nachos or burger nachos, are you expecting it to be covered in
sloppy Joe? No, you're not.
No, you're expecting like
big chunks of ground up beef.
Okay, so we ordered something called cheeseburger nachos, and it's like cheese with sweet ass.
It was legit like sloppy Joe. It was real finely ground up too.
For real sloppy Joe. Meat and sauce on top of your nachos. It was nasty. Maybe you guys like that. Maybe that's a thing somewhere, but
not
it's
here.
Nasty. So fuck you, Wahlburgers.
Fuck you, Wahlburgers. So this is our segue into Chopping Mall.
So, yeah. The Killbots need to go to
and take out the Wahlburgers in
not the workers,
no,
not the people there,
they just
but
need
just like
to
literally
just
like close
remove
it down.
Yeah, just shut it down right now. All right. Well, let's get it into shutting down this final part of our podcast, Chopping Mall.
Right.
Let's get into fave scenes,
right.
Josh.
You go first.
Okay. All right. I'll start off. So my fave scene involves Mike and Leslie. It's right after that big old orgy. And she needs her cigarettes, and he goes and gets them. And next thing you know, he's like getting choked by the Killbot, and the Killbot even like slices his throat up. She finds him, and that's I like the effects.
It's so gross.
Very nice
it's
and
like
practical.
the grossest part of the movie.
Yes,
probably,
it's
which
like
I love.
his neck kind of sliding back enough for like blood to squirt out of that jugular.
Justine loves to squirt. She loves squirting in horror movies.
Okay.
I don't know.
Again, keep going. So next thing you know, we got our lovely titties out Leslie running down the hallway.
Titties out Leslie. That's what you're going to reduce her to?
No, I'm just saying.
She's smart. She's talented.
I don't know if...
Okay, she's titties out Leslie.
She's titties out Leslie. So she's running. She's giving us our first, like, really awesome chase sequence. The Killbot, takes her out, blows her head off, and that's nice. Her friends all see it. It's the first, like, oh, shit! Like, moment.
The head exploding scene is gruesome, but hilarious, and everything you kind of want out of, like, something like that. Gore like that, you don't want it to be too serious, or it's just over the top disturbing.
And I love that. I love that it's over the top, but it's not disturbing. And they even use it at the end. They even use it when they have her little title card pop up at the end credits.
You get to see her head explode.
Like, the movie never takes itself extremely seriously, but it's still trying to be a solid, like, horror movie.
Yeah, it's not what you would call, like, campy. That word gets kind of used too much. It might be kind of kitsch. It's over the top. But, I mean, we have seasoned professionals like legends, Barbara Crampton and Kelly Monroney. And, like, these people have been in movies.
They're not signing up for just anything.
They're not trying. Yeah, it's not... Even though the director went on to do a lot of, like, B movies and, like, titty titles, we'll call them.
Titty titles.
Titty titles.
What about...
He, I think, was trying to make just something fun and tight. And
fun and tight.
Something fun and tight.
Okay, go.
Concise,
what's yours?
maybe is a better. I'm going to go with the creepy crawly scene. Where she's... Because it has the tension of... Why can I not think of her name right now? It's Kelly Monroney. What's her... She's Final Girl.
Oh
my
God.
God.
Yeah, Allison.
Mm-hmm. When she's hiding from the Killbot, because you get the suspense of, her hiding. But then on top of that, you get the crawly aspect of, like, oh shit, could I sit there and hide and be quiet while there's snakes and tarantulas on me? No.
Probably not.
No, I couldn't. Maybe if it's just a tarantula, but snake, I would be screaming, very high-pitched, giving myself away. And if you were with me, you would die also, probably.
Yeah, like, I would just by association.
So, I really like that scene. That scene's fun because it gives a different aspect than what's already in the movie. We're getting a lot of lasers and, robots.
It's, like, more real. Like, that's real scary.
Yeah, we're getting creepy crawlies instead of just, like, robots.
And it's also a reminder of they're in the mall. Like, they're in the pet shop at the mall, and it's
they even have, like, paint stores. Like, we've talked
I just
about
love
it. They
it.
have a little bit of everything. It is the Mall of America.
Well, let's get into our knife ratings.
All right, 3 knives.
3 knives! Me too! Wow!
Yeah, it's 87 minutes. It knows exactly what it is.
Yes, I do love that. It ties up in a nice little bow. Like we've said, you get the beginning and the middle and the end, and there you
get
are.
Allison and Ferdy. You get the little romance coming full circle at the end. They save the day.
They hug it out. It's good. It follows some tropes, but it's good in how it does it. And I smile at the end because I feel like the film has done a full circle.
I know some of you are probably like, oh, you were harder on Urban Legend than you were on this movie. I'm like, well, Urban Legend is a little over 2 hours, and it takes itself a little bit more seriously than this movie does. And they're apples and oranges.
Ratings.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges. And I'm actually rating it the same, 3 stars. So, there you go. Well, we like Chopping Mall. It's a fun movie. It's not like my all-time favorite, but if you want something that's just like 80s, has fun gore, has robots, then pop in 87 minutes of Chopping Mall.
Yep.
It's on I think Amazon Prime in most places. It's on. If you have Amazon Prime,
TV.
yeah, IMDb TV, which is a free app.
It's on Shudder.
You will have ads with IMDb TV, but they're not too egregious.
It's fine. Okay, next up for us, episode 65 is gonna
be a weird one.
We're going down to the Big D, Dallas.
The trip is gonna be interesting. We're going to this really obscure museum that's in a hospital, and it's like a hand collection. It's like all these brass hands.
We're gonna get brass handed and talk about.
I guess there's like famous people's hands and all kinds of stuff.
Astronauts and presidents.
We'll be talking about idol hands on our way down there, so join us for that.
And follow us on the social medias on Scream Queens Podcast .com,
which is kind of under renovation right now. If you go to it right this second, it's a little outdated, but we have some things in the works.
Yep.
Check us out, rate us.
Facebook.
We love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.